Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna try to procedurally create this infamous Guru donut. Thanks to Mr. Andrew Price, that there's so many Blender artists that's actually creating donuts. Kind of like some of them are pretty realistic, like Andrew teaches, and I don't know the other one maybe like a little bit more cartoony, but yeah, I think donuts is actually a very good beginners modeling tutorials. Even such a simple model that's you think you can create using just a torus primitive can be pretty complex, and there are so many varieties. And these guys are actually a very good study for shadings as well. And you can definitely procedurally create some of the donut shapes. But anyhow, I'll make a simple one. I didn't make the details yet, but this is what I came out with basically. So I'm using Sverchok. So this is I'll call it Guru Donut. So it's a famous Guru Donut. So I actually, this is what is this. This is not just a, I didn't start with a torus. I actually started with a skin modifier that's actually based on a circle. This is how I started with. This is actually this brownish color part, the actual donut. The icing on the top, that's actually a different part. But I start with this donut. Like I said, it's not totally a torus shape. I actually, with the donut, would be nicer to have the middle part slightly kind of like that shape. Let's make a donut, and then the outer part is a little bit more rounded. So this kind of detail makes a donut a little bit more realistic if you want. But yeah, I'm just using skin modifier because it has some that kind of property. And here I make sure that the skin modifier can be slightly randomized if I like. I found that number 8 is actually pretty good. If I go too far, then it might get a little bit too funky for my taste. But I don't know, it's pretty good. But just the outer part should be more rounded, I think. But the middle, the inside part, I quite like it, like that. So that's actually for the donut itself, which is just skin modifier. I still can actually control the thickness, and I don't know, to make it the donut a little bit fat, or maybe less fat, you know, like a little bit flat at the bottom. I don't know, just skin modifier basically. So that part is pretty much done. The next part is slightly more tricky, but it's actually pretty simple. I am actually grabbing this donut part, and from that donut part, I kind of slice it in the middle, around the middle, because I just want to make this this icing part, you know, the sugary part, the colorful one. That probably can be done using Blender Fluid. I don't know how Andrew Price did it, but anyway, if I'm to do it, I'm just cutting the donut around there, and I'm using this bisect operations. What I get is actually this green part. If I hide the mesh, so this green part is a result of the bisect operations. Pretty simple. So I can cut it anywhere basically with the donut part. And so the next thing I did, remember there's the inner part and the outer part. Be careful with that. We kind of want to make it slightly rugged, you know, like so I'm using noise actually. With this surface, I'm basically extruding it once and making the extrusion a little bit funky looking. So it's something like this. It's looking something like this. So I'm so with bisect operations, I get the green part, just the top part. That's going to be the icing, and there's also another bisect. This is just to get the cut the edges of the cut. And so I'm using circle noise, multiply it down, and then I can still randomize the icing a little bit and extrude it and flip the normals, whatever, and then join the green part and the blue part. Okay, maybe, yeah, join the green part and the blue part. What I get is, of course, just something like this. But it is currently it's a bit funny because it's more like a melting down. So what I did here, I simply output it, and I'm using projection. So bring this back into layer 1. I'm using Blender on shrink wrap to shrink wrap the icing back into the donut, and then I'm using solidify as normally, and then I can use subdify, so I get this quite believable icing. I believe it's pretty pretty cartoony, but I don't mind it. So yeah, I haven't got time to do the detailing part, but that's can be particles, like it says Blender beginner particles for the donut part. So yeah, you can also displace this part a little bit more. The detail part is always the trickiest part in 3D if you want the details, but I like the more like a simplistic kind of model for procedural artwork. So I can make I can have like a multiple donut with a slightly different icing and with a slightly different donut as well. You see, if you look at it from the top view, we can randomize the donut slightly and randomize the icing slightly, ever so slightly. Probably can fix that a little bit. Maybe with the donut I can just smooth it a little bit, you know, like a smooth, and then your smooth gonna bring it down, but that I can see the popping there, so that's not good. That's okay. Maybe the icing part can be pushed a little bit out more. So this is a thick icing donut, I suppose. That's kind of okay. Yeah, so I can randomize this guy. So maybe if we turn this into a monad, maybe we can get like 100 or 1,000 donuts with slightly different shape, just like the real donuts. Yeah, so the infamous guru donuts, that's how you might want to create it using procedural way. In this case, I'm using Sverchok. For the icing on the top, I think that's we can use Sverchok as well for that, and maybe particles. Other than that, I guess this is pretty much it. With the icing here, see, I can still kind of push it up and down slightly and kind of adjust the noise. I can use for noise. Actually, it's Perlin, maybe more manageable. Yeah, see, kind of nice. Maybe bring this up. You know, maybe less icing, more healthy. So I think this is the donut that we want. That's a little bit funky there. Maybe adjust it slightly until we're happy. So there you go. That's a procedural Guru donut using Sverchok Add-On and Blender. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.